prison and still refuse to be prisoners. And some people are on the street and still refuse to be free. Yeah. Now we know that there are more criminals on the street than there are behind bars. And a lot of people in the parliament and the clergy and the establishment are more criminals than the people behind bars. So we want to think about this word freedom. Whether it is dumb to be free or it is free to be dumb. Or free to be dumb or dumb to be free. Or dumb to be free and still not free. Or dumb
once on the listen keenly, you know.
And you are born free. But whether it is dumb to be free or free to be dumb, this one is entitled Freedom. This is the war cry for our prisoners and liberators universally. Freedom must be our only prison. Free the prisoners, because prisoners can't prison prisoners. Thieves and murderers cannot condemn thieves and murderers. We have to bring it come. We must bring it come. How if we bring, we freedom come. We have to bring it. We must bring it come. How if we bring, we freedom come. Free the prisons and free the asylums. Free the ghettos and free the slums. Tear the shackles off your minds, the chains from your hands and the chains from your feet. Free up your body and your mind. The prisoners are in the streets. The streets are in the prisons. You're a product of your environment. So the crooks are the architect of this establishment. So listen to me reasoning and start an argument. We have to bring it. We must bring it come. How if we bring, we freedom come. We have to bring. We must bring it come. How if we bring, we freedom come. Freedom. So you get up every day committing crimes. Put in the prisons in your minds. If you take the prisoners from out of the prison, it will be no more a prison. There will be no need for a prison. So empty the prisons now. We have to bring it come. We must bring it come. How if we bring, we freedom come. We have to bring it. We must bring it come. How if we bring, we freedom come. Now ask yourself, who am I? Where am I from? Where am I going? Why am I here? What's my purpose in life? How am I come from? How am I there? How am I name? How am I go? Now when you find the answers to these questions, freedom will be your only prison. We have to bring it. We must bring it come. How if we bring, we freedom come. We have to bring it. We must bring it come. How if we bring, we freedom come. We have to bring it. We must bring it come. How if we bring, we freedom.
We have to bring the thing forward, you know, because no one not going to do it for us. You understand? That is the reality of our situation as a people, because you know how long we're there on here, Zane, and the ones them who say why them would have do it, we don't see them do nothing. You see me I say? So it leave upon us. You see it for reason amongst ourselves. You see me I say, and see how we can find a way out. Zane, so without no further ado, our special guest today is a dub poet, a reggae artist, an author, Zane, and also a promoter. No other than YajStars. Blessed love, honorable.
Yes, I, Rastafari, live. And as the I say, we have to do it for ourselves, you know. We are the original custodians of the planet Earth, the cradle and womb of humanity. So we have to do it for ourselves, create our own reality, control our own destiny. We have to bring the freedom forward, you know.
Yes, I, without a doubt. We have to do it for ourselves, fire. Yes, I, we have to do it for ourselves.
And you see, anything less is a short change which is inadequate and which won't be good enough. You know what I mean? Because it's all about a power struggle, you know. And people want to control other people's life and exploit their own resources, human and material and spiritual and economic and intellectual resources. So certainly we cannot, give access to that or facilitate that. And so even I and I as a people who have been gang raped by the European forces and have been reduced to chattel within the transatlantic genocide, we cannot really take dictates from the former and neo-colonial masters. We have to gather our resources and reinstate Mama Africa to our position of honor and glory, which was what it was originally until she was violated. So we now really take no talk, we now take a check, no retreat, no surrender.
Rastafari. And that we have to drive the narrative there, You see it? We have to drive the narrative there because at the moment we can say that we have become complacent, complacent. We get comfortable, you know what I mean, as a people. We are comfortable with everything that is going on. And, we not really burn that fire as how we used to burn the fire to make the ones them know that they have to do something, they have to change, all these things that they have brought upon us as a people. But we look complacent at the moment.
Well, you see, as you said, we're comfortable in our discomfort and the dis-ease. And we have been lulled into a state of false security or false insecurity. And so we are really custodians and architects of the own voluntary genocide. So we just have to wake up and live, And the consequence otherwise is self-evident. We don't even want to go there. We prefer accentuate the positive. So we have to wake up and live,
Seriously. Yeah, man, we have to wake up and live and know that now is the time that we have to really do something, because we can see everything that is happening around us and it doesn't look favorable for us.
Well, it was designed, my brother, remember saying it was designed that to be against our best interests. You know what I mean? And the whole trick really is a psychological, mental, intellectual, spiritual, economic, genocidal, bacterial, military warfare, So we have to know that. And know so we are at war, And until good finally conquer evil permanently, then we have to be vigilant, Ever mindful, ever vigilant, ever on the alert, ever on the front foot, ever be proactive. That's where it's at. We don't even have the luxury of choice, really. We have to stay centered and stay focused. They stay focused and make the food them one course, but we are keeping focused,
Selassie, Yeah, we have to keep a focus no matter what. That is imperative. Yeah, that
I
is
hear the
imperative.
mystery, There's a controversy with the cockpit country in Jamaica, It's a simple solution. Because there's a Trojan horse that is being planted in the cockpit, be it the cockpit country or the cockpit of the spaceship, the mothership. So we just have to flush out the cockpit, Come with the pilot that belong in there. So you have to stay centered, Stay in the cockpit, stay in the center. Stay in the control tower, stay in the control room, stay in command, stay in your melanin temple, stay in the solar temple. You know what I mean? It's not by accident that the two sides of your head is a temple, So you know which part the Almighty Emperor and Empress dwell. The yin yang, the male, female, the Iaphoros, the third nostril, the third eye, the third ears, the third lip, you know what I mean? I did this over the control tower. So we have to just hold the center and stay focused and do what we have to do. We don't have to be anxious, because I and I think is governed by divine ordinance. So we have to just know ourselves and be ourselves.
Naturally. So when I say a Trojan horse is in the Coptic, what you mean by that?
Well, with a reference Greek mythology, really, but in the sense that if you look at the reality in Jamaica and the Maroons, and the cockpit country in Jamaica, Trelawney, St. Elizabeth, St. James, that whole expansive area there, where the Maroons struggle did fight. Right now, them sell it out, There was a meeting in Troy, in Trelawney, where all the major powers of the earth gather. So we know what time it is, really. And we know, say, just like the Greek mythology, people can go online and go read that quickly for yourself after the program. So there has a Trojan horse, which a Trojan horse is really a deception, a decoy. Because in the story, in the Greek thing, you know, them give some people a big horse made out of, you know, man-made material, and them take it as an idol and keep it among themselves and go on a bed go sleep. That time the Trojan horse was loaded with people, and the soldier them jump out and massacre the place. So you have to just read the analogy and the symbology and see the levels, you know.
Rastafari. So all right, where does that fit now with the Chinese in Jamaica? Because I know when this whole Coptic issue started, Zena started to be Coptic.
Cockpit. Same place like where the pilot in the plane, man, and the cockpit.
Okay. I think you attack in a Jamaica, in the mountain.
Yeah, man. Then that me talk about my brother, man. Cockpit country, man. You don't know the part of Jamaica.
Yes. Okay. So my pronunciation there.
Okay. Yeah, Coptic are the people that were there at St. Thomas a plant some herbs some decades ago.
Yes, sir.
Listen, continue, man. Everything good, man.
Yeah, man. It's all right. So I was saying, because I know there was some talk that you know, like the Chinese, they are taking over Jamaica, and you know, Jamaica is sold out to them. Did that issue regarding the whole Coptic, did it have anything to do with them?
To an extent, yes. All of the nations, them. I talk about, we don't want to call name, but we're not afraid to call name either. We talk about the British and the French and the US and the Canadian and the Belgian, and nobody not left, you know. So you hear me, I sit here, you know. The whole thing is that it's a scramble for Africa and the African diaspora, you know, my brother. It's scramble for world powers, we say earlier, is that about a power struggle. Nations rise, nation fall. Civilization rise, civilization fall. Remember, say Europe and America, the Euro-American construct is in decline, rapid decline too. So therefore, if you look at the level, nature abhors a vacuum, you know. So obviously the Chinese are fit that. Just look at the global political situation. And look at the situation in Jamaica. Look at the arrangement that former Prime Minister Pusha Simpson Miller made with the Chinese government. And that speaks for itself. Look at Goat Island. Look at the river, the rain belt. Even when Marcus Garvey was born. Look who owned that now. So, you know, I mean, them call in this region American backyard. So, American are comfortable with people around the in backyard. So, the tension is between those two powers as well. But it's played out globally, and certainly it's played out in the Caribbean, America's backyard, as it is called. So, if you look at even the Taino lands where the highway passed, and you see that the exchange that was made for lands in Jamaica for the infrastructure of the road. And if you understand the critical importance of infrastructure development and technologies that are embedded in those infrastructure development speaks directly to your sovereignty and your security. So, I mean, we have to wake up and live, we have to be vigilant, we have to research, we have to in-search, we have to move tactically and strategically for self-preservation. And for constructing the narrative that will create the new paradigm, the new reality there, which in my view is inevitable, because African victory cannot be stopped, you know. You can maybe delay it for a little while, but it is our most divine ordinance. And Africa is rapidly rising. So people just want psychologically to think, make you think otherwise. But we cannot entertain those thoughts. I mean, you know, we have to be victorious even based on the fact that failure is unthinkable.
True. Totally agree with the eye. All right. So, what do you think that? Because when I speak about like the whole colonial power, seeing which we know is Great Britain, seeing that, you know, have been dominant within. You know, even Jamaica is still a Commonwealth country, said we. So that is under the British crown. But we are look upon China as, someone, a country who went through a similar ordeal in some sense as the African nation, but now they're on the rise, and they're in so many different places over the world, and it seems like wherever they are, they're trying to or the narrative is that they're taking over places like Jamaica, for instance, because Jamaica is a small place compared to Africa. What the IJahStars pandas for?
Well, as we did I say, remember, everyone come out of Africa, and yet still, Africa was gang raped by many nations, Arabs, Europeans, and in the contemporary region, all parts of Asia, and the same Euro-American construct still obtained. So Africa was crucified on the international cross of slavery and colonialism, and buried into the sepulchre of death and captivity. Yet still I and I refused to die. And through the powers of Rastafari, the tomb became a womb and gave birth to this inborn concept of Rastafari, which is breathing new thoughts, new perspective into the temple of the family of humanity. So all of the nations gather against that nation which seems blessed and highly favored. And so it's like a red eye thing go on, it's a power struggle thing go on, because first of all, Mama Africa is the only continent that is grounded. Every other continent a floating continent. So Mother Africa is the immortal spaceship of the ancient future. And Mother Africa is so blessed with all the human and material resources and anything that mankind could have want for scientific and technological and industrial development. And so it's just a robbing and a thieving thing go on with Mama Africa. And so I and I people now has been brainwashed with religion and miseducation and all kind of other things. We take the eye off our prize that them can come in and continue to do what they have to do. So all of the nations prove themselves guilty. So we're not a friend, and we're not looking a friend neither, and we're not looking an enemy. We have to think of self first, because we don't want to be selfish, but a self-preservation. If you go in the aircraft, the man them say if any problem and you need to put on the mask on your face. Even if you have a child with you, put it on by yourself first and you attend to the child. That's called self-preservation, because if you don't have a footing where you can stand up and you can't lift up somebody else, So I did a search with Mama Africa now, as the mother will give birth to all humanity, and she has been so rudely violated that we have to just defend Mama Africa and reinstate her. Everything will happen after that, Because she had the woman, she had the strength, she had the foundation. So if she's violated, we will be violated too. And if she's reinstated to her honor and glory, then our honor and glory is with that same action. So where you sow, where you see, where you reap, So we as African people, we just have to look out a bit one two eye, and we just have to look out for Mama Africa, because Mama Africa gave birth to all humanity, And Mama Africa teach and civilize everyone, And at the same time, everyone gang rape Mama Africa. So it's a diabolic, sacrilegious, and incestuous act, because she's the mother of all humanity bar none. So I and I who have that responsibility as being African people, it's our duty to look out for your mother and look out for the family of humanity and the extended family of humanity as a consequence and as an extension. So we have an immediacy and an urgency to deal with Mama Africa reinstatement and to deal with the issue of reparation and repatriation and to fight against settler colonialism, because if you look at what did happen, remember, so we as well say India and China were on the either side of Africa, and we still yet to see that benevolence and that reciprocity. So therefore, we have to stand up for ourselves,
True.
Yeah, read them as a fireball.
Yeah, man, I read what they say 100%. So it lead me to that question, because the reason with that virgin the other day still. Zane and him start to show him on some things in terms of the native people in Jamaica and in the Americas then. Zane, and what he was saying that African people were the native people in Jamaica, Zane, before any European came there. Now, as a Rasta man, I know say repatriation is a must. International repatriation, redemption, is a must. Now, when me hear ones saying that we are not Africans who are born and raised in Jamaica, and I know that the transatlantic slave trade took place, there are evidence of these things. When we look in Ghana, we see Elmina Castle, where the slave them used to pack up in a zine for transport cross. Yeah, so. So more often know the high thoughts and the reasoning where ones are saying that we are native to Jamaica and we are not African, so we should not look towards repatriation. And as a Rasta me here taught them something, you know.
Not saying, just ignorance still, because we are the original inhabitants of the planet Earth, you know. Black people have a song, the whole world is Africa. We can identify with that because we are the original people on the planet Earth, you know. And I populate the planet Earth already. We are the original people who circumvent the planet, you know. And so, even if you're not born in Africa born in a you, so you can't deny yourself. I mean, if a goat born in a pig's pen, that make it a pig. You know what I mean? So them think that there's some myopic, narrow-mindedness we are distracted from the world reality, because if you look at the First Nation people, the indigenous peoples of the world were the original covenant keepers between the Almighty and humanity, you know. And it's not just Africa that was violated, you know, all the First Nation indigenous peoples. And it's I educate and civilize them, and we were the original authentic covenant keepers in the company of the other First Nation indigenous peoples. You know what I mean? So right now, that's the reality. And in that sense now, African people, whether we're globally, even to me, reparation not necessarily mean you go abandon other parts of the earth, because we are still earthlings and earth people. So it's just that we have headquarters and we have to go for the garden of creation. We have to go for an earth. So we still have our outposts, you know, in Asia, Australasia, Caribbean, North and South Pole, East and West Wing. It don't really matter. We are earth people. The earth not that big to that if you check it out still, you know. You know what I mean? I say? So we as African people, we are the guardian and custodian for the planet Earth, man. We don't need to come up with ourselves on no island or no continent, brethren. We just have to go find the headquarters and put the defense around ourselves. And when we are travel collectively with collective security, and we have the outpost them where we are going to do farming and we are going to do the thing, and we are going to govern the earth and replenish and be the gardeners in the planet Earth. So whether you want to be Rastaman or Muslim or atheist, it don't really matter. The reality of it is that it is. If it look at the genetic footprint, archaeology, anthropology, ethnography, everything points to the reality there. So where we are going to run from the reality? We don't have time for that.
Yeah, it look like it won't look like somehow we are run from the reality of things, because
I don't know how we are run from reality, man. But that's how you go still know, my brother. Look here, if you light a fire to cook some food, or a bonfire in a binky, you have some little bramble where you go up on the fire burn out fast, you know. They have them purpose for play too. So we don't have to be distracted by that. If you have the log in a thing to keep the long distance, then you have to play your role. If you have the little bramble where you catch up the fire and then you burn out yourself, then that's how it go to, man. A part of the thing. So it don't make sense you have to worry yourself. Remember, so we confident in the victory of good over evil, the ultimate victory, you know. So unless you know yourself and be yourself, brother, we all have a purpose, you know. So we have to just fulfill that purpose there. We have the resources to fulfill that purpose there. So we can't make nobody distract you under no name or no label or no disguise. You know what I mean?
That's true, man.
So there's no apology, you know.
None whatsoever.
Come to the virgin, man, if I hear me the thing.
None whatsoever. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I did the same thing then, my brother. So you always have to have the distraction, but you have to keep your focus. It's not by accident it's spelled name focus, you know. You understand what I say? It's not by accident it's spelled focus. So it's almost like you have to just keep your focus. The four of them about, them a cuss and them a fight and them a quarrel and them a try to distract you. But you can't make that happen. You have to keep your focus. Especially we as a people, based on what we have been through and still going through. We have to keep eye on the prize. We have to keep the focus on purpose and on the method to fulfill that thing you war with upon, one look off at the road and you crash and nobody don't know where you're there.
May I tell her? May I tell her? I see you or something, man.
You know what I say?
Yes, I see your thing, man. Serious thing.
Yeah, man. So,
serious thing.
Bro.
All right. Me jog the eye. Let me jog the eye memory a little bit. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me jog the eye memory. What did attract the high Zine to Rastafari when you pick up the trad eye, you know? What did attract the eye in your young days?
So it's an interesting question that because if they know the reality of my youth days still, remember me born in a deep rural St. Elizabeth, where no electricity, no running water, no radio, no television, no newspaper, dark and walk, kick on, look good fire, blinky as a light at night, and them look over there and go to church and the whole regular thing and eat pork and the different other meat them and go at the butcher shop or watch the butcher slaughter the animal and blood from head to toe. And you see them look at things as a youth and it look appalling, it look gruesome, but you don't know, so there's an alternative. And when you start grow within your awareness and start prep and start go to school and read all the same Bible and see you through your own eyes, you kind of start to look at the thing different until it's like almost like the ideas them in you. My mother beat me and locked me up at about age 10, 11 in a pit latrine because I hear Rastafari right now. And me can't remember seeing any man we call themselves Rasta until years after. So I and I is testimony of the fact that Rastafari is an inbound concept. So it's almost like a seed, we planted, once it gets certain nutrients in the soil, and a certain amount of sunlight and a certain amount of moisture, it will germinate and grow to be whatever it wants to be, whether orange or mango or apple or tangerine or tamarind. So I and I know as a youth born with the spiritual insight and concept of Rastafari. It's just the cultural circumstances providing that nutrients and that sunlight. So when we listen to other people, listen to the music, read, obviously man like Marcus Mosiah Garvey and Plano and the music and them things they are the nutrients that germinate the seed of Rastafari within I and I. So it's just people like those really, we remember early out, vibing Marcus and the African Liberators people and Malcolm X and Walter Rodney and until further on Peter Tosh and Bob Marley and Bunny Wheelers and Jimmy Cliff and Pablo Moses and the whole vibe. So them think they will draw inspiration from we help germinate with. Even books where we read, Bertrand Russell, Why I'm Not a Christian, all of them things there, them coming like the moisture and the sunlight and the wind and the water and the nutrients in the soil where make Rastafari bust out. Because it's an inbound seed planted within I. So I was not about
what role did the Bible play in all of that? Because you speak about going to church and things. So what role did what influence did the Bible have on your growth as a young Rastaman?
Well, significant, because to be honest with you, I remember saying me never come to Rastafari through no Rastafari organization. Me come to Rastafari while attending the church and reading the Bible and interpret it for I and I self. And here are the pastor who was an ex-dreadlocks man, a cuss Rasta, and I use for himself as something for be like a Rasta. And we see right through that. That him deal with I and I different. And so we see the Bible as a rallying point, as His Majesty said, and we start reflect as a narrative, whether it is imaginary or real, we draw from that idea as at least a perspective to the human origin and the human journey. I remember say, we are living, breathing natural man and woman and children. So we have our own intellect and our own iris. Remember, so we have everything embedded in I and I, from times immemorial, before there was time. You know what I mean? So all these things are within I and I. So when we journey in ourselves, and we unlock the genetic memory codes, you can't fool me so easy. And we draw inspiration from any source we want to read, whether the Gleaner, the newspaper, the television, the radio. Because remember, so the wise learn from the fool, and the fool still refuse to learn from the wise. And so, especially when we hear how His Majesty even speak of the Bible. Me as a man read my Bible almost every day, same way, because we still want to understand whoever write it, or whatever period of time them they write, but we want to learn from that and garner something, and it's a thing. I'm an intellectual warrior, I'm a cryptic warrior as well. So people read a book from all different walks of life. So we read the Quran, we read where Krishna say, we read where everybody say, and we have a different vantage point to get a holistic view of the Earth's history.
I pray thee, when His Majesty we're speaking about is delight and love in the Bible. Do you think that it was the Amharic version or the Kes version, which because he said that we Ethiopian have the oldest version of the Bible, and we out here as Rasta we have the King James version. So what are your thoughts pan that?
I mean, come on. Yeah, we know the Ethiopian are the oldest version of the Bible. And we know Ethiopia is a land, Africa is a land of diverse cultures and spiritual traditions. And we know that religion is really a man-made thing that is meant to aid and abet and support the spiritual growth and development of its adherents. But like politics, religion can be polluted and subverted to be a weapon to colonize and to perpetuate injustice. And we are in those times and situations right now. And so even His Majesty said that people of Africa in spiritual bondage because they look for the solutions outside of themselves. And even people use religion and the Bible as a convenient pretext to perpetuate their own selfish ends. And just like politicians put the political party above the country, so it is that religious people oftentimes put the interests of the denomination and in particular religion above the interests of spirituality. And spirituality is that network, that authentic network that links and connects us one to the other, to our source and to the universe. And so in that context now, we look at the Bible as a rallying point, and certainly this is not the only rallying point. There are other texts that are rallying point. There are other books in the so-called King James Version which are, outside of the King James Version, which they refuse to put there, and Ethiopia have some of those texts. And at the same time, more than the text within I and I, we have the embedded genetic memory codes. So we were even before language, we were even before Bible, we were even before the alphabet, we were even before ideologies and philosophies. So we cannot discount that as well. So we have to use inner iris as like a meter and put it across any book, be it Bible or Quran that we might read, and pick up the energy and pick up the current and know what time it is, and know what the value and what the voltage and what the wattage and what the current, and what is so and what is not so.
So, all right, saying all of that, my lord, seeing, we praise His Majesty and His Majesty, as I say, and as I quote, that the Bible is something that Him delight in us. So, when the I say, like, Rastas now, Zane burning the Bible now and denouncing the Bible, being an intellectual, or you view those brethren, you see them as radicals?
Yeah, you have known, brother. Remember saying them. We were born on different days, different orientation, different perspective. We occupy different vantage point by virtue of individual and cultural and social and moral and political orientations and experiences. So we have different modalities in terms of development and outlook. And so we think these situations require a certain level of patience and due diligence. You know what I mean? We don't want it to be no source of no bickering and infighting. And so we still all keep the focus and whoever willing to listen and learn, we share our perspective with them just like they would share their perspective with us, that we can come to a consensus. Because the struggle is really to build a consensus through consultation. So we have to communicate respectfully and reason and match notes and mass best practice and come towards the center and come towards a consensus around which we can all galvanize and support the unity which we need. And so, you know, me not really look upon the thing too critical in that sense, because yesterday, today was tomorrow, tomorrow, today becomes yesterday. So, you know what I mean? It's almost like a child born and breastfeed and urinate and defecate on itself, but after a while, the child vibrate on a higher frequency. And so, you know, we can't be unduly impatient or critical of people who defecate on themselves or who need breastfeeding or who need to be fed from a bottle, or somebody who walk with a crutch as against somebody who is more wholesome and healthy to walk upright without a crutch. So, you know what I mean, it's just caring and sharing and keeping your focus on being yourself and don't be distracted while you don't distract others. So, you know, we have different pace of development and growth, and so we have to be mindful of that as well. And we have the forces that had colonized us are still actively trying to divide us, because a divide and rule and divide and conquer kind of mentality around the thing. So we have to be tactical and strategic, and we have to be tolerant, we have to be diplomatic. Because even as His Majesty said, the different religious movements, they don't talk about denominations now, but the different religious movements are simple like the loving fingers of the hands of the Almighty, and neither God nor man want to do without a finger. So it's just a way if we build the consensus and to compose a unity with the different variations, because we diversity don't have to be a weapon that undermines us. The diversity can be strength in diversity and strength in plurality. We don't have to be uniform even when we are united.
I
don't know if you see what I'm trying to say, no, my brother.
Yeah, me hear what the ayah say, my lord. I hear what the ayah say. I hear exactly what the ayah say, Bobo. You see me, I listen and I learn.
Yeah, so in other words, no, you see, we could have take the route we burn fire, but sometimes we burn fire and sometimes we have to throw some water too. Because we are water, we are not fireman, you know, we are waterman too, you know.
That is a reality.
And we are eater. We have to embrace all the elements there. And all of them have their own place and time and purpose.
That is a reality, far right. So all right, I want you to throw some water pan this time. I don't want you to throw no fire. I just want you to throw some water. So all right. Today now would how the I say a lot of Rasta reggae artists as they have them bring the movement Rastafari into disrepute, because some of the things that we see and hear over many years and thing, and the I being an elder in this movement Rastafari for a long time. What they I thought? You feel say some of the artists them have bring the movement into disrepute?
No, and not just artists either. Enough other one where we subscribe to the order in their different capacities, do some things which are indiscreet, disloyal, unreasonable from time to time. And so, we have to develop mechanism to address those and to moderate those behaviors and attitudes as it relates to the collective narrative of Rastafari. And if you look at even Christ was betrayed by people when walk and par and sleep with and feed and we're supposed to be brethren. And if you look at his Imperial Majesty, we know that when His Majesty visited Brazil, his very own son was involved in a coup. You know what I mean? So we see where this little brother here, when name Miriam, Mengusto here,
Mengistu,
Miriam,
yeah.
and so we never short of examples of people where undermine and disloyal and they are traitors. And so that still can sway our purpose and who we are, self-realization, self-actualization. So it's just to recognize those and to know how we moderate and tactically deal with those. But you see, many people are led to believe that a man with locks and a microphone in his hand is a power of authority, and nothing could be further than the truth. We have evidence of many who are traitors, outrightly traitors. We have many who, remember, says a warfare we are at, people come amongst you and plant against you. Some people are traitors and spies. And so that is why I have to look with the third eye, if we see and know, a man can't have no hair upon his head any more honorable than some man will axe a touch the ground. You know what I mean? So in other words, no, it's not, we have to use the spirit and test the spirit in other way, as been said earlier. We have to have the meter to put past the circuit. You know what I mean? The meter is the inner overstanding there, the inner awareness there, the inner spirituality there, where we can, when you meet a man and look in him temple and him countenance and him aura and him body language and the essence and fragrance will come from him and the mouth, the words will come from him mouth, we can know. We kind of make sense a mango tree, a beer orange and want to be called a mango tree. By the fruits, you know them, by your works, by your thoughts, your words, your deeds, and so. And so, the same principle applies to Rastafari as it relates to some of these artists, where some are very myopic, opportunistic, some get weary along the way, and some get tricked and fooled with glamour and glitter or the false promises of those things, and them come out of themselves. We know them when we see them. We know them when they function that way. We know when a furniture in our house are malfunction. We know when the light switch are malfunction. We know when the front end on the vehicle are malfunction. We know when the hand on the vehicle are malfunction. You know when the button on your clothes are malfunction.
Yes, I. Seriously.
You see what I'm trying to specify about?
Yes, I.
So if you know it's a malfunction, where you're going to make it fool you. We don't know that. Can't punk out the thing and clown out the thing.
Yeah,
and at the same time, if you fall down, the idea is not to stay there and make people trample you. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start over again. Beat at us, it done so that too. And we have many other examples that speak to that concept. You know what I mean? 7 times rise and 7 times fall. Sometimes you buck your toe, and sometimes you never even fall down. You stagger until you straighten up yourself again. And sometimes you fall down, but you jump up. If you want to stay down, then say, come on, get trampled and be a casualty of the trample. And I mean, we can't be over sentimental in this warfare. You know what I mean? A battlefield with a pan.
You say we can't be over sentimental.
No, we don't have to lack empathy, no. Don't get me wrong, we need empathy, no. But we can't be over sentimental, brethren. If you're on the battlefield and the soldier get wounded or the soldier get anything you can do for him, do it. If you can't do certain thing for him, the war have to be won. I don't know if I'm sound off track, you can't tell me still,
No, you're not sound off track still, We just analyze what the IIA says still, Cause
but me make sense. Are they the moderator still,
Yeah, man, they make sense, man. They make sense.
I'm not hear from the people out there still, so we have to decide to use our age to share with the people where I know so the people we can feel the people even through the technology,
The people they must say whole thing, man.
The thing is there's a thing with a link, but the link there's hierarchicality, so and if the people we are planting seeds, a seed task we are planting our people still, so if we get the right nutrients it all germinate and all tonight then wake up out of them bed and I say Rasta no. This the Rasta I just started and I'm ready to talk about today. Yeah. And next week and next year and things. So they ask another question, me I prescribe to the answer what it in me if you prescribe and what me think me know and what my experience teach me. So, is that a one really? So it's not like we even have to agree on everything. I give you a perspective from where I have been and where I am at. You know what I mean? And what I have and what I have been and what I have seen. So I live it is a testimony, it's an experiential testimony of how we heart a beat, how we are breathe, how we see it, how we live it. You know what I mean? And experiences and some of these things which I'm talking about are things that have worked successfully in my personal life. You know what I mean? So me I use that as a teaching tool to share with others as well.
Rastafari. Yeah, man. I hear what the I say. Fully. You know, but I still as the I say, you know, differently as Rasta still, because watch ya. You use a professional dub poet, right? And that's your profession. All right.
1 second, my brother. 1 second there.
Rastafari. Yes, my people. And you know what I say? I don't know what I go on with my camera. Anyway, make we just run a little audio and thing.
Senyako Medutainment presents Poetry in Motion 2021, the virtual edition. Sunday, February 28th at 3 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Live stream on IRI FM and JTVR on YouTube, IRI FM on Facebook, plus live intermittent broadcast on IRI FM radio. Featuring Benjamin Zephaniah, Yasus Afari, Professor Rupert Lewis, Stephen Wise, Kabumat Karu, Dr. Charmaine Gooden-Monteith, Leighton Smith, Mark Stevenson, Martin Matthews, Mick, Style Jamaica, and more. Sponsors: Poetry in Motion 2021, Sunday, February 28th, 3 p.m. Clean, intelligent fun for the entire family. Be there!
Yes, fire.
Yes, my lord. One welcome again. Yes, I give thanks. Yeah,
so you
man.
talk about professional part of the thing in terms of poetry and the music and thing, right?
Yes, so the music being your profession, right? And that is how you eat your food and you look after your family and thing. See? Just like a plumber or an electrician, that that's their profession. But at the same time, you have your profession and use a Rasta man. The principle of Rastafari still applies inside or outside of your profession. So we're not supposed to say me not say boy one's not get weary and thing like that, But when certain things go out there that the whole world can see this thing, you know what I mean? And it not really look like a person weary. It does look like, they're trying a thing. And it doesn't.
Look here. Me need, if you are correct there, because I look for myself different from even how one see I still, If anything, when me I profess is more Rastafari me I profess. So as it relates to poetry and whatever else will be my profession, me can approximate the understanding that if you understand what I want to try to say. But I mean, my values far supersede what me do for earn food and put on my table. And I mean, when you look at me, if you describe me professionally, I would be like a culturepreneur. So therefore, we have everything wrong with if we make we be who we are, So if you see, that's why they describe me as an author, as a promoter, as a poet, a farmer, an industrialist. So we do things to fulfill with purpose. So with purpose is even more important than any single aspect of what we do to fulfill that purpose. So I do poetry because we want to use the art of poetry to really lick out the concept of colonialism and European mentality. But at the same time, we do other things as well. That's why I write a book. That's why we promote an event, so we feed a certain menu to the people. And so what is even driving and inspiring these activities, is who we are as a human being and the integrity of our purpose and spirituality. So me more loyal to Rastafari than the poetry, Dub poetry is a tool for I and I fulfill I and I work for His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Natural.
For I and I fulfill I and I purpose as a living, breathing, natural, sovereign man.
Natural, my lord.
I did this for me then, so me not really subscribe to other people notion and perception of them things. And if a man know my career, from day number one, I saw me vibrate, Me not look friend or enemy when it come to the mission. That means to say if you want to be a part of it, good. If you don't want to be a part of it, good. And so when we are doing things, we're not frightened for politicians, we're not frightened for prime minister, president, kings or queens. We answer to the Almighty.
Yes, I. Straight up.
I did this for me with my things still in my family.
Straight up. All right. The I speak about early out in the conversation, about us as a people and the stands that we need for tech and thing. We in a Black History Month. What does that mean to the I?
Black History Month.
Yeah.
Well, we know how the institutions of the system set up, so, maybe through the disadvantage that black people have suffered over the centuries, then, they want to put a point of focus in a particular month to bring some attention to the struggle and to where we have been and what we have contributed and where we are now and where we need to be. So nothing is wrong with that in and of itself. However, 1 month couldn't hold I past, present, nor future. And so we just look at it as a rallying point, a point of reflection where we can tactically and strategically use that focus and that attention to put things on the agenda and to deal with the black future and the black present and the black reality and reflecting on the black past. And so, I think is 24/7. I think is an immortal trad. I think is that, so what happened to March, and what happened to January, and what happened to February, and what happened to December, and what happened to the 13th month, we think non-stop. So we use that as a little point, like you're walking at the desert and you find a little oasis and you drink some water, you maybe carry some with you until you reach the next one too. So the month when there is also attention and focus, well, we utilize that to help quench the thirst and to help refocus and reset and recalibrate. But the struggle continues and the recalibration and the reset and the alignment continues beyond the month, be it October in the UK or February in Canada, United States and of America and the Caribbean, or some other countries when I have no need to celebrate that. We still have to depend on the battlefield and depend on the struggle every breath where we take. So forget about the months and the years.
1 month couldn't really hold up.
Every breath that we take.
Rastafari.
I didn't say a war for your life depends on this, my brother. This war where we are fighting is a war between life and death,
Serious.
And we choose life. We live that death must die. So we don't have we come in like we can't even think otherwise. I did the same thing there. We live that death must die now. We refuse to die. We refuse to accept defeat. We refuse to be what they want us to be. We refuse to be chattels. We refuse to be puppets. We refuse to be the straw men and straw women of the earth.
Yes, I. Seriously. Yeah, we have to shake off them something there. But observing Black History Month, we see something happen, a very significant thing we see. I think it was in 2019 where Ghana had the year of return. What do you make of that? Was that a great move from Ghana, and do we need to see other African countries doing things like that?
I don't know if it's a great move. It's a fairly good move, and it's also a move a good tourism move, a good marketing tool for tourism. There's still so much need to be done in terms of the AU as it relates to the diaspora, as it relates to Africa having a permanent seat on the Security Council of the United Nations, in terms of fully recognizing and facilitating the people of African descent who are in the diaspora. And so, those gestures are reasonable gestures, but they are not the fullness. It's just a means to an end. It's certainly not the ultimate goal. And so we want to see institutions and systems put in place to facilitate that bonding with I diaspora and with African people, and for African unity within the continent, and for that to drive the unity of African people outside of the continent. And so gestures like those, to me, are the marketing tourism gestures, really. But nevertheless, they have a useful purpose to serve. But we have to seize those moments now and make it work for the bigger picture and the longer journey.
Rastafari, for real. So when we see the communication and the relation building up now between even Jamaica and Nigeria, where we see, I think a few months ago, probably last month, flight from Nigeria to Jamaica. You also see that as a good tourism move, or you see it?
We see it as a good move. We don't want to judge them intentions still, especially that aspect of it. We have reasons to think. And I mean, listen, I don't really like the people them fair do a tourism move still, because every country have to build them economic reality still, So I don't want to get me wrong still. It's just we know we can't be too complacent and we can't over celebrate these things. We have to still be critical minded and critical thinkers and critically appraise all of these things and put them in perspective and see how best they can be harnessed and utilized if they are worthy. So in terms of the link between Nigeria, we here in Ghana thinking of a similar thing. We'd love to see the Ethiopian airline do similar thing. We'd want to see South Africa do similar thing, because as if maybe the eye would have known. I don't want to speak for the eye still, but we have reasons to think that as the eye would have did know, we are building Jacob's ladder. And so every step in terms of linking the diaspora with the African continent, we see it as being a worldwide exercise in what we perceive as the Jacob ladder. That practical link, practical, theological, ideological, technological, scientific, spiritual link between the diaspora and Mama Africa is welcome. And we have to harness and make the most of it. Because once we can demystify that thing, you know what I mean, and have the people going and coming and getting to know and get to understand, and you can see, you can carve out a place on the continent. It's good to stay from afar and read and think and communicate, but when seeing is a little bit different than imagining. And so we want people to go on the continent, see what opportunities are there, we can find a place within the continental people come in and see what we are doing, what our experiences are like here, how they can learn from those experiences and take it forward to Africa, what we can do in terms of what we have been through here, any resources and influences that we might have had, then we can bring it to build Mama Africa. So that's what it is, and that's how I see it.
Yes, I. Yeah, man, all these things can turn out into something totally different in a positive way still, from
yeah, man. Then the testimony we hear from all of these experiences, we hear more positivity than negativity. To be very honest, the negative part is very minimalistic. We see positivity, so we have to seize those moments, almost like an opportunist, positive opportunist. Seize the moment, make hay while the sun shine. Cause one day go come when the sun and go shine.
May I tell you? And it look like it approach that time there. Yeah, I tell her seriously. All right. I and I who grew up and born in a Jamaica, Zine, we said no one are better than yard. But this current climate now that we find ourselves in a Jamaica, what are your thoughts on crime and violence? Do you think it as upscale or it have downscale due to the in-place curfew and the virus and all of this in Jamaica?
Well, first of all, no one are better than yard. I mean, but where is yard? You have big yard and you have little yard. Africa, the real yard, the original yard. Africa, the big yard. So Jamaica is like a outpost yard. So we don't really go subscribe to the narrative if we want to give up big yard for the little yard, give up a continent for the island. So we don't really know that.
But may I speak Jamaica specifically still?
Yeah, man. Well, Africa, I and I yard. We don't really know about no Jamaica, the yard. You know what I mean? Jamaica is a plantation society. It's a plantation yard, and Jamaica is a nice place. It's a part of the planet Earth, and Jamaica play a crucial role. But I and I roots and foundation is really Africa, and the evidence suggests that. So we don't even bother have time to debate that. So as it relates to the crime and violence thing, we must say Jamaica is a very violent society. You know, Jamaica is a transshipment point for the gang rape of Mama Africa and the reduction to chattel slavery of Africa and other peoples. And so violence has been embedded in our culture, in our politics, in our DNA, and it has perpetuated itself and continued. Remember, so the police force and the army really specialize in the management of violence in the interest of the state. And oftentimes the people who are outside of the law, they are protesting. And so their actions of irresponsibility, be it violence or so-called violence and crime, then it is there from a protest. What we need is really education and consensus building, where we need to educate these people and give them proper tools. Because if you go arm a child with a weapon, you know, shoot you and shoot all themselves and kill people. You know. But maybe as a child, you know, need to give him a gun, you need to give him a pen and teach him how to use a pen to can use a pen to quote him and to quote his sister and his brother eye too. So really awareness and education and raise the vibration of the people and make the people them see them worth and see themselves and see them purpose and see them history and see them existence and see them destiny and know how to manage those resources. And so when we think the people them lack love, the people lack empathy, the people lack justice, and the people them lost, and the people are being polarized and being divided. And after 50 odd years, we are still paying homage to the people who are responsible for our genocide. And if you look at the language, we are practicing neuro-linguistic sorcery. And so the computer is being contaminated with virus and malfunction so that we love our enemies and hate ourselves and hate to liberate us. So we have a lot of work to do in terms of reconstructing the mind, and that's why I like the AI program as mindset. I don't know how serious you take that mindset thing, but me studied engineering, you know, so for me, reset and mindset and calibration and alignment and realignment and re-engineering are critical tool of liberation.
Majesty. We take it serious, man. That's why we're there today, and there is here on the program to share the information and the knowledge where they are share. You know, the chat room full up right now. I want to large up everyone in the chat room, manners and respect to the item. See, we're reasoning with dub poet Yasus Afari. Talk to me about a few, probably a week from now. I look forward to the 18th annual Poetry in Motion and the 28th of this month. What is it like organizing such event, you know what I mean, over the years?
Well, first of all, I want to heal up the people in the chat room. Give thanks to take the time out, and it's a mental chalice we are passing a circle, you know, so while they them to go and hold a sip and hold a meds and make it straight in them in this moment. As it relates to Poetry in Motion, yes, give thanks to the opportunity to speak to the 18th annual staging of Poetry in Motion, which interestingly, I visited Ethiopia in 1996 at the invitation of the government to celebrate the Battle of Adwa, and I arrived in Ethiopia on the 29th of February 1996, so it was the leap day in the leap year. And 8 years after, I got an inspiration to dispense the formula of Poetry in Motion with music, dance, and comedy, storytelling, fashion, and poetry, clean, intelligent fund for the entire family, and to support a worthy charity in the community, and to you know, have a social intervention in the public space. And so it has now become the longest running and most successful annual poetry event in the history of Jamaica, and we have heard in the English speaking Caribbean. And so on Sunday the 28th of February at 3 p.m. we'll be presenting Benjamin Zephaniah, Stephen Wise, Professor Rupert Lewis, Dr. Charmaine Goodman-Teed, Kabu Mahat Keru of RFM, Mark Stevenson, the reggae violinist, Martin Matthews, Pingwing, the comedian from London, Leighton Simit, Mick, I affectionately call Mick, Viv Morris, who's a storyteller, the Golden Tongue Awardees, and Style Jamaica, Afrocentric fashion, as well as Yasus Afari. And we are able to bring this virtually, free of cost to the public, courtesy of Jamaica Tourist Board, IRFM, Jamaica TV Radio, Tourism Enhancement Fund, Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, Fontana Pharmacy, VW Investments, Real Talk, Ian and Ian, Learning Links International, Style Jamaica, plus support from NCB Professor Jeff Palmer in Scotland, and presented to you courtesy of Seniacom, endorsed by Poker TV in Amsterdam. And we give thanks to our artist Rowan, who did the design of the logos and the other stuff, and the entire Poetry in Motion family, the media fraternity, including the I With Mindset, and our charity this year is Friends in Need. Friends in Need is a charity that is based in Mandeville that look after AIDS victims, mentally challenged people, homeless people, people who are impoverished, and people who need some clothes and some place to be and some food to eat and some money to spend. So we have been supporting them for about 5 years, and we are delighted to. And even this year, when we're not selling a ticket, we're finding ways and means to continue to support them. No retreat, no surrender. The work must be done. The mission has to continue and has to be accomplished. And so while we used to have it at 6 p.m., this time it's 3 p.m. We're having a modified version, so it will only be 2 hours. And you can access us, IRFM, the #1 regular radio station on the planet Earth. They will be providing intermittent live broadcasts from the venue in Mandeville. And you can access the stream on IRFM on YouTube, as well as Jamaica TV Radio on YouTube, Jamaica one word, TV Radio, one word, on YouTube, IRFM on YouTube, as well as IRFM on Facebook and Instagram. And you can listen on IRFM.net, because we'll have intermittent live broadcasts from the venue. Most of the performances will be live, and some will come via Zoom.
Rastafari. So now it gone virtual. What are the expectations?
Well, we kind of keep our mind open, and then by virtue of what we have been doing and the support we have been getting, which is very good, we expect to have the biggest staging of Poetry in Motion yet. Last year, Jamaica Poetry Festival is our event as well. Last year we did the 10th anniversary at the TVJ studio with sponsorship from the RJR Gleaner Communication Group, and we presented poets from 10 countries: Iran, South Korea, Botswana, Netherlands, England, Canada, America, Trinidad, Barbados, and Jamaica. We had a viewership of around 650,000, the biggest yet. And so we are aiming to have a viewership of 1 million over time with Poetry in Motion. So while the pandemic, scamdemic is in vogue, whatever I want to describe it as, we have to seize the moment while they are making the global reset, and we have to keep our house in order and put our house in order, and still put out the positive vibration where people need to navigate these challenging times.
Rastafari, yes, I. Yeah, man. So we're looking forward to the event and thing. Yes, I.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
The virus. As a Rasta man, how has that impact the eye? What the eye do? As an artist. How has that affect the eye? If it affect the eye still.
Interestingly, me have a cousin who him did a show me a while ago. Him named Keith. Me have a brother named Dunes. Especially Dunes the other day stopped me and said, "But Farai, come like you prepare and ready for them thing a long time. So the way me structure and organize my life, it's like say, me keep a distance, as my brother said, they say, love them from a distance. We already learn to love people from a distance and hug them from a distance and support them from a distance. Even though sometimes we have to get close, but we still know so sometimes we have to keep wide. And so I have been doing that. And even from I was at college, CAST, College of Arts, Science and Technology, the same place that they call the University of Technology. A couple decades ago, I foresee the moment in time that we have now, and I died from then, that I was when we just start sight up Rastafari. We did organize and formulate our lives in accordance with that vision that we have foreseen. And so right now, it works for I and I. And we don't believe in a technology, but we don't disbelieve technology either. We use technology as a tool of liberation and to fulfill our purpose. And that is what we did with Jamaica Poetry Festival. That is what we are doing with Poetry in Motion. That's what we are doing with our book, Overstanding Rastafari. We have just got an offer to serialize the chapters online. We are reissuing it because there's an increased demand for that as well, for our agro products and for the herbs that we know and that we cultivate and that we share from time to time with the people. So in the moment of this global reset, the changing of the guards, we did already foresee that. And so it makes sense I pray for rain, Father, have a cup to catch water. So we did foresee this thing and we did prepare for it. And so we're ready for them.
Yes, I. Yeah, I hear the eye. I hear the eye, my lord.
Let me show you another point. Listen this now. Jamaica Poetry Festival we had last year at TVJ. The most sponsorship we have ever gotten in the 10 years was last year. Poetry in Motion, we have at least 13 sponsors. The most sponsors we have ever gotten in the 18 years of the show. So you can interpret that whichever way you feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was what? That was just weeks before the lockdown came in.
No. What happened? No. Poetry in Motion last year was the 23rd of February, It was one of the last public events held in Jamaica,
Yes.
Because the country was locked down 2 weeks after Poetry in Motion 2020. No. Jamaica Poetry Festival was the 9th of August. So that was months after. So people were saying, postpone, cancel. I'm saying, no retreat, no surrender. I'm just going on myself and get the inspiration and say, raise the levels. So rather than have a little token thing, we're going to celebrate with 10 countries, from across the world. And we did that very successfully. So even I had a meeting with the Thurs board yesterday, and they were telling me how impressed they were with what we did. And that's why they are on board for now and for the foreseeable future. Because we bring them into a wider market. Remember, we had people from South Korea and Iran, we had 100,000 people viewing it on YouTube. And we had another couple 100,000 viewing it on cable. So we really showed our resilience and our creativity and our innovation. And we're doing the same thing and even better with Poetry in Motion. And so in other aspects of our lives as well, we are doing that. So if you look at Jamaica TV Radio, I am a partner in Jamaica TV Radio, which is a streaming service that will bring Tell True Vision to that listening and audience that vibe to content that's Afrocentric and content that wholesome and that can empower people and raise their vibrations. Because what them do is dump down I vibrations to a gutter level. We need to raise the vibrations of the people.
True, I believe so. As I say, we raise the vibration. All right, make we lift it up a little bit. I don't know how much time there I have left still. But
I mean, what they are waiting for me, but kid, you are working, you good? You good? Yeah, man, so we good, man. Because you see how the thing go now. I and I network know the urgency of the moment where I live in, the work we have doing. And so we need all hands on deck, all hands on board. And so even when the sponsorship came, and when our interior decorator and the videographer, everyone really realized what we have been doing over the years and are on board to help make sure say this work go through. So they have the people in your chat room. We honor that they are here, and I take time out to have this reasoning, and hopefully we can just talk about things that can give people a vibe and some insight and some solutions. So we find the time for it, man.
Yeah, man, I whole but think the people must say still. All right, let me say this. See, I see in Jamaica there a report came out the other day that there are shortage of herb in Jamaica, marijuana. See, and I know marijuana is a topic where it probably could take up, you know, the whole other program and time to come. But what the I view upon that? Is it that the people must smoke more herb in a lockdown, or is it because of the restriction?
Listen down, my brother. One day, me do a lecture at IRFM, a Marcus Garvey tribute, and people in a different part of the society and institutions of the society are almost use it against I and I, but we don't really are back. What happened with ganja in Jamaica, you know, just like how Jamaica was used as a transshipment point for colonialism, Jamaica is now being used as a manufacturing and transshipment point for genetically modified ganja to render the melanin temple uninhabitable and inaccessible for a critical mass of people aligned to Rastafari and reggae. Did I overstand what I just said?
No, repeat that, because while you say it, I have got access to repeat it again. Seriously.
Let me slow it down. See. Jamaica was used as a transshipment point for chattel enslaved people in the process of colonialism and the genocide of colonialism and slavery. In like manner, Jamaica is now being used as a manufacturing point, transshipment point for genetically modified ganja.
Right.
And the purpose of that genetically modified ganja is to render the melanin temple uninhabitable and inaccessible. Put it this way. You have a battery in your vehicle and the battery brand new, but the poles and the battery are corroded, so you can't access the electricity within it. Sodium chloride and calcium fluoride are known to calcify the pineal gland, which is actually the melanin temple that we're talking about, so that you can't access the power of the god and goddess within the temple. Me talked earlier, says a reason why the two sides of your head name temple now. It is the seat of the soul. It is the solar temple, S-O-U-L-A-R temple. So there's a conspiracy and a strategy to use, first of all, an alkaline food, certain prayers, certain meditation, and the first 3 hours of the sunlight and ganja are known to decalcify the melanin temple. When you have it genetically modified now, it interprets it to a counterproductive point. So all this here happen now because the seed bank are shuffle and a shift, you know. So just the beginning you see.
Genetically modified ganja. All right, this are not something that is really new, Zin, in terms of greenhouse growing and outdoor growing, Zin. So this thing now that is being grown in-house, is it something that is playing upon the estrogen and What is the next word may I look for? Within
right. Me more would have talk about melatonin and DMT. And so if you want to find say no, my brother, I don't know if you ever hear the concept of gradualism. Remember say Babylon is a mystery, Babylon is a creeping thing, you know. The thing just a come to a head, you know. You know what I mean? So not where you see happen now whenever they start now. A few things happen now when nothing on you, and they think them gradual and then creep up on you and then put spies among you and all kind of little thing and then pollute some of the man them we plant and make the boy them start deal with some white powder business and rat bat manure and goat manure and fowl manure and different type of chemical and things. So it come to a head and now where it gone to a whole other level through quantum entanglement and quantum tunneling and quantum biology and the whole thing, you know. So it come to a little level where the whole idea is really if you possess and inhabit the soul of man even beyond the grave. Rasta. So I want the people in the chat room to look up on quantum physics, quantum biology, quantum entanglement, especially quantum entanglement, transhumanism, the Internet of Things, the RNA with the DNA, and the quantum tattoo, and see the conspiracy where take place and how the thing are come to a little head, you know, where we capture the souls of the people. And so even beyond the grave, they have access to it by the spiritual technology called quantum entanglement. And so it is a function of quantum physics. And so when genetically modified ganja and other genetically modified food are there to disrupt the natural order and flow of things, to give the enemy greater access to his cells and to his heavens and to his thoughts, because the technology now exists to intercept your thoughts and cut and paste the thoughts like you cut and paste something on the internet.
I see you or something.
My virgin, we go to school like anybody else to still, you know, so I feel like say, you know what I mean? Me not have I feel them little argument in my argument too.
Yeah, man, we know, man, you are going good far. You are going good. The people in the chat room, I love the energy still. So, them ask me a question for asking, you know, but regarding this marijuana thing now, seeing, even though them take it to that level, seeing where, you know, them are interfere with the genetic of the plant, seeing, where Rasta now fit into all of this thing, because as we know, Rasta has been persecuted for this thing, and now we see overseas these same people who persecute Rasta, them have CBD oil and CBD this and CBDN and all these different type of product they have from the herb, and they didn't give Rasta a chance to develop themselves to even reach to that level in the plant. Where you see Rasta fit into all of this now?
Well, that no, we have a different perspective from there. Rasta fit into all of that, and the biggest mistake that Rasta cannot make, Rasta is not going to fit into nothing. We just need to fit into them things. We supposed to have a different paradigm, a different faculty of application and interpretation. And so we've used, hear me out a little, we've used this occasion to advocate that the people who were vilified and ostracized for ganja, their records must be cleaned and they must get reparations. The damage, even a token gesture must be made to repair that damage. And the insult with dignity and the records and the suffering we people go through from that time until this time. And so that must be a premise for engagement with these people. And we must be on that same premise now, be allowed to develop industry for sacramental and industrial and pharmaceutical and cosmological and for food reasons and everything else as another natural resource, and to create our own seed bank both within ganja and the other foods too, and for open up with trade and with value added products among ourselves and whoever else we care to engage with. And so rather than fitting into Babylon paradigm, we need to create our own paradigm, because we not fit into Babylon conspiracy. Then you become a victim of the conspiracy and a tool of the conspiracy. That is very myopic and irresponsible, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, why me say 15, you know, because that is how it look to I, man. You see me, I say is where them, it's like them want Rasta to fit into this thing where
so
they
who
have...
is them? By the way, who is them? The them what you talk about?
The them what me talk about is these big guys, these big corporations, these big companies, these pharmaceutical.
So let me ask you something now. What benefit Rasta have for 15 of them big pharmaceutical, big guy, big vampire program? Then Rasta now would have punk out the struggle.
Rasta no need to fit into it, but in terms of
that may show you, man, Rasta need to call them out. Rasta need to call them to account. And so any occasion that me get like even them occasion that we say, yo, the people them record. One to them people who go to prison for the thing we want to worship now. One to them family will get disrupted. One to them people that we want to defend. We don't give them people no justice. One to them police record we want to use against them same way. And them thing that we are talking about. And why Rasta can't get access to self-determination and have we own land to cultivate for our own self, because we not trust you. A long time we don't kill you out and poison you out. Why we should have come believe in all this now, we don't get better and get wickeder. And the evidence is there.
Well, that is the reality. We see a whole lot of dispensers opening up now in Jamaica, which is the birth of Rasta. We not say these dispensers agitating or even putting anything out there to, you know, to see these things come to a justice. They're all about making money off the herb, not remembering that virgins, you know, give them life for this, you know, get locked up for this, you know.
So while Rasta, I mean, we need the money to fulfill the economic reality, but at the same time, the greatest objective and purpose of the herb and really money, you know, is the healing of the nation, you know. So we have to get it on a grassroots level now and get the original, authentic seeds them, so that we can use the thing proactively to heal ourselves. And if we have to get some financial and economic reward from it, so be it. But the principal function is to provide the healing and to raise the vibration, that we can be a more wholesome and more functioning people. And once you work, you get the pay, you know. And once you fulfill your purpose will be fulfilled. And the purpose will serve you. So we don't have to watch them and have to deal with for them thing and run just with them. Make them go down in the sinkhole where they dig for them own judgment self. We don't need to follow them as we go sink with them too.
So last year, I know. Alright, let me get to some of the questions where ones are asking at the chat room, you know what I mean, for ask the eye. Seeing alright, a virgin said, alright. Someone was asking about a mission between the eye and Ghana. Alright, please ask Yasus Afari what has become of the plan Garnet Silk, Rebel had and other alliance had for the foundation they wanted to start called Christian Soldiers.
Rockstone. Who the man there where come from?
Rabbi. Spy Rabbi. So I saw the virgin.
From which country?
I don't know.
No matter. Me just know say the man in a normal and in deep, but here what know. I mean, if it don't get controversial, I don't really like controversy still, you know, but me like truth, you know.
Truth.
I start the Christian Soldiers movement and register the trademark and open the first account, and I promote Garnet Silk first birthday bash and the first 3 Rebel salute. Rebel get jumpy and throw a bill around him rip and run off. And so that create a whole little thing they just know when. Me never really want to go on a court for, you know, in a them kind of thing. Some of this walk, I think bigger than them little thing there. So up to now still, remember, so when we keep Garnet Silk birthday bash and Rebel salute, every man amongst the crew I eat meat, you know, and drink liquor. So it speaks for itself. I mean, I disrespect them because we used to eat meat and drink liquor too. So the point I make to you is just the brother, the virgin, they will ask a question, they know more than him ask still, you know. And he may be true, you know, some is a man will shy away from them thing, they might put me on the spot. So here we are on the spot then. You know what I mean? So it didn't get dissuaded and lose its focus from the original thing then. And so, you know, part of the reason for I and I walking and dealing with poetry in motion 18 years ago was because I said, well, all right, Ray, so let me build my own thing since, you know, we have built a thing in unity and them look at things they go on. And enough of the people them get weak and get jumpy when people dangle carrot in front of them. So it helped undermine the authentic unity. And so I and I just try to stand up in my integrity and my purpose, which inspired I and I to do those things in the first place. I don't want to go too deep in it, you know, so me go deep enough already right there, so I hope that makes some sense to Robbie still. Because the thing was, as Robbie maybe know, based on the question remarks and the very facts in reference, some of the things in reference, our thing was to have an event in the 12 parishes and in Africa. Our thing was not to guard your pocket and your bank account with money, but to use those things as resources for the liberation and empowerment of the people.
Rastafari. Yes, my lord. So basically what you ask...
Robbie said, what you say, Robbie, that help?
Yeah, Robbie can reply back in the chat room still. You know, if that help him out still.
Yes, I know Jim, if you go and write something that to like the question now, if him have something to say to the
all right. This is what I'm saying. I don't. Yes, sir. I am just big Garnet fan as well as your brother since I was a kid. I'm just disappointed because I heard about the vision. You know, that's his reply still.
Right. And to be honest with you, I am disappointed too. Many other people are disappointed too. But we have to still know, say, it's one of the things that will plague the movement. And you know, that's why I don't give too much strength to it still, you know. Because energy flows where attention goes. So differences are going to happen. Garnet Silk, not even death can divide me and Garnet Silk, you know. Because we don't already say nothing can divide us, you know. We stay true to that. So Garnet Silk and my brother, I don't see Garnet Silk as dead, you know. I see Garnet Silk as shedding flesh. You know what I mean? Tony Rebel, no matter what happened, I'm a brother. I mean, really, I hear me, I cuss him out and I say, Ray, things happen. And so I keep the integrity and the militancy, but if I want to go ask you, you know, we are going to try to be honest without digging up too much dirt. But we are family same way. And even your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your wife, look how much people sleeping at the bed for all 20 years with them wife and have a picnic with her and them all divorce. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Say you have to divorce and become enemies and not try to kill people and burn down the house with them. You know what I mean? Maybe you divorce her and you all married her in your 10 years time too. So we have to just keep the focus and stay up on the mission and things are going to happen to try to divide me. But we have to still keep the bridges them open and still build new bridges too. And not fling the rock stone behind me and still show the love and still show the loyalty to the fundamental principles. Because sometimes a man divert off of the road, but him come forward on the road and travel again on the highway and head towards the destiny the same way. So I saw them things I go, man.
Reality. Reality,
Reality IjahStars. So we don't bother with the illusion and over sentimentalism. Because it's still a ism and a schism. You know what I say? A good conquer evil, no? And light comprehend darkness. So at the same time, even them institutions, they are doing what them have to do. And that's why we don't bother bad vibe and be a victim. We create, because we are creators, you know. We keep creating new things, keep building new formula. Keep working new miracles for the healing and the feeding of the people.
Yes, I. So
I think they said my brother, Robbie. So let's go and support the movement in all its manifestation, man. Go and support all the institutions that we have been building from that time. The new institutions that are now, and the new institutions will be building moving forward. Because healing and upliftment and empowerment, you say.
Seriously. All right. Apart from that, Zane, I have two more questions for the eye still. Zane, Marcus Garvey is seen as a national hero in Jamaica, right? And probably one of the biggest national heroes then out of all of them. Why is it that it is so hard for Jamaica government to introduce or implement then the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey? So the younger generation that is coming, because most youths in Jamaica only know that Marcus Garvey was a national hero, but the body of Marcus Garvey work, they don't know about that.
Yeah, my brother, listen this now. Don't forget to know my brother. Who is the head of state of Jamaica? You don't even have to answer me, because the answer out there. Who is the head of state of Jamaica? The Parliament of Jamaica has not been decolonized. The education has not been decolonized. The universities and education have not been decolonized. The police force has not been decolonized. The religion and religious institutions have not been decolonized. And so the former colonial so-called masters are still the modern masters of Jamaica. And so the loans that are taken out to the World Bank and the IMF and the Bank of Paris, the people are used as chattel for the repayment of those loans. Marcus Mosiah Garvey preached reparations and repatriation, and so that comes in conflict with the economic reality of the state of Jamaica. Right. So these people, it is not in their best interest to promote Marcus Garvey philosophy and opinion. And if we are going to wait on that, we will wait a very long time. We have to start at the grassroots level and in our own spaces and institutions do that. I mean, Babylon a little bit smarter than if we cut him on short.
Serious. It's a serious thing. Yeah, so that's something what we are going to say. We are going to see happen for now.
Brother, it's an exercise in futility to sit and wait until that happens. If that happens, make it be a brata. We need to do that for ourselves.
So when Rastaman say repatriation internationally, and we should return home by the people that have taken us out of Africa. Do you think that we should sit and wait for these people, or we should just make the moves?
No, we must continue building Jacob ladder, but in terms of international precedent and justice, we have institutions like the United Nations, we have the Nuremberg Tribunal, and so there are institutions that are there and have dispensed these kind of function before. In the case of the Japanese, in the case of the Jews, in the case of the Aboriginal people, that is still ongoing, in the case of the Maori people in New Zealand, and certainly in the case of continental African people. And that's why we are advocating for Africa through the AU to have a permanent seat on the Security Council of the United Nations to help ensure that these institutions can bring about that international justice, which is due for the reputation and global image of the African nation. But those are just some of the avenues. We have to, at the grassroots level, continue to do that, building the links between our people through the music, through business, through just migration, through whatever means at your disposal, and build it from so-called bottom-up approach. And so when we're in a position and garner the critical mass, then we will do it at a macro level, where that the global international governmental institutions will have to fulfill the mandate and will have the people by bringing to bear these institutions to bring about the international justice which have been afforded and accorded to other nations. And so we must not be an exception in that regard.
Rastafari. So when we see members of the CARICOM agitating for compensation, or you see that? Do you see that as something that gonna spread out for all African people, or this is just something for people in the Caribbean?
Well, I mean, step by step approach still, my brother. And sometimes you hand in a lion mouth, it take a time to pull it out, but are in the vampire mouth. But we have to empower the people so the people can operate from a position of informed position. And we cannot expect these so-called Commonwealth countries, because first of all, that's a lie. Wealth is not common. And so if you are subscribing to that notion and those political constructs, then you can't really dispense those duties effectively. We see people who make covenant with the devil acting on behalf of the Almighty, and that's not possible. So we just have to open our eyes still, and them do what them have to do, because even the devil have our work to do too, But we who choose not to be the devils, we must have our work to do as well. And let us see how we turn out. We are still confident in the victory of good over evil. So that's where we are at, and that's where we are putting our energies.
Rastafari. Yes, I. More of a thank the eye for taking the time out today, You know what I mean? It's a great honor for have the eye on the program. And reason with the eye, I think it's the second time now. So we give thanks that we could do it like this today. Word of encouragement to the ones in the chat room and the world at large before the eye move.
My brother, the honor is mutual. It's my honor and pleasure and my sacred duty. It's always a pleasure. We always give thanks and happy for the opportunity as well. And word of encouragement, I don't know if you say, more than say people, I have a concept when I say IDAPS, identity, definition, awareness, passion and purpose. As individuals, make we define ourselves, man. Know who we be. So that we identify that. Define ourselves and our purpose. And build with awareness. And make our passion fuel and drive us to fulfill our purpose. So it might be sound like a cliche, but know yourself and be yourself and stay focused, stay in your center, be vigilant, use all the resources at your disposal to fulfill your purpose, and don't make nothing dissuade you. And failure is unthinkable. And we have to find a way to peacefully coexist. So unity is the operative word. And we have to find a way to build a consensus and to build truths and rights and to rally around that and to let that serve our purpose. And ultimately for us as African people is to restore the dignity and sovereignty of Mama Africa and by extension all humanity. Once I think why we put things in those priorities and in that order, everything else will rise in place. So we have to just look after ourselves in this pandemic, scamdemic, whichever you want to call it, if it's all the above. In this global reset, it affords itself an opportunity, because when you're having the changing of the guards, people are empowered and people are vulnerable. There's always a silver lining. We have to just find the silver lining and make it keep shining.
Rastafari. Totally agree, Honorable.
Give thanks.
Yes, I give thanks, my lord, and more love and strength to the I and the I entire family, my lord.
Give thanks. Give
yes,
thanks.
Sir.
And see you on Sunday, February 28th, 3 p.m., 18th Annual Poetry in Motion, IRFM Intermittent Broadcast, IRFM on YouTube, IRFM on Facebook and Instagram, Jamaica TV Radio on YouTube, Sunday, February 28th, 3 p.m. Rastafari, bless it and set it.
Rastafari. Yes, I. Give thanks. Give thanks, my lord. Yes, I. Peace and love. Rastafari. Yes, my people. There you have it. Yes, Rastafari. Yes, yeah, man, we give thanks. Give thanks to the item there. With we, the whole process here. Selassie, Yes, I give thanks. Yeah, my camera is down, my people. For some reason, I don't know. My camera has been playing up, But pardon me. Give thanks there, them take the time out and there with we and we're doing it like this. When we're there again, we're there we're there Sunday. We're there Sunday a forward. Zine, we're there with another special guest. Zine, we are gonna speak about health and nutrition. You see it. So yeah, check we out this Sunday. 5 p.m. 4 p.m. UK time. Then 4 p.m. UK time. We're there this Sunday. Then yes, I. So I want to say manners and respect to the item who take the time out today for tune in again. You know what I mean, and interact with us. It's it's a great honor for you have the item on board. I want to say more love and strength to the item. The item does continue to take care of the item self. Watch how the item go and keep safe. You know what I mean? Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari, cut and clear, jinx and snare, pollution in the atmosphere. Yes, I. More love, more strength, my family. Vertical thing there. Mindset, Rastafari.